Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Siti Mariyam binti Zazaly, and today I will be sharing with all of you about the digital arts that I have been doing for almost a year now. There are actually many kinds of digital arts, but today I will share about the water paint lifestyle. First of all, this is the app that I use to do my digital arts, which is AB's Paint X. It will be with hand-free and no need of stylus pen. These are some of my arts that I did. And before I start the tutorial, I think it is better to introduce to all of you a little bit about the app so that you will not get lost on my tutorial later on. As you can see here, this is the first page that you will be seeing, and when you want a new canvas, you just have to go to this plus sign and these options will pop up. You can choose many sizes that you want, but I always use the one with 1000 width and 1200 height custom. You can use two fingers to zoom in and zoom out the canvas, and at the brush icon, you will see the tools that we can use. There are many tools here, but the one that we will use frequently in this tutorial is of course the brush, eraser, smudge, blur, and filter. And next to the brush icon is the types of tools, such as for brushes, we have airbrush, digital pen, and more. However, if you are using a normal AB's Paint X like me, there are some types of tools that we cannot use. But we can easily push this add button and watch an ad to have the access of these tools for 18 hours. Now we can use it all. Then we have these two lines, which the first one controls the size of the brush and the second one controls the opacity of the ink. Now the box icon is actually representing the color. See, we can choose whatever color we want, and this is the palette. If you go to this icon, we can add more layer, and this button will allow us to arrange the layer. Meanwhile, these three dots can show us the option of naming the layer. We can see another line here, and this is the line that controls the opacity of the layer. In this tutorial, we will be using three kinds of layer, which is normal, multiply, and add. Usually, multiply is for shadow and add is for the highlight. I think that is enough for the introduction. Now let's begin. We want to change from this to this. And I will show you guys how to do it step by step. Let's go! So first of all, we should go to the camera icon because here we can import the pictures that we want to change. I recommend you to download photos that is in high quality, especially when you are just a beginner. Here, I will be using a picture of an actor that I love, which is Kim Seon-ho. Please show lots of love for him. Thank you! So anyway, we should place it nicely and always choose cancel for this option. Then we should duplicate the layer because it will act as a backup just in case if we made a mistake in the process. The first tool that we will be using is the smudge tool with the opacity around 24 until 40 and the type is pencil graphite. The size will always be changing according to the place that we will smudge on. Always be careful to not smudge it too much until change the whole shape, because we smudge it because we want it to look smooth and with flow. We will be smudging all of the picture except on the eyes area because it has many characteristics that we need to keep, so we have to let it be first. The neck, the lips, the skin, the ear, and even the clothes. As you can see here, there is words on his clothes and we don't want our arts to have this kind of things. So smudging also can help in order to cover it up. It might take some time, but art will always take time. One tip that I can give to you about smudging is to always smudge it in one way. About the hair, we need to smudge it, but since hair has a pointy shape, we need to make our brush with a pointy effect. We can go to the upper right with the hand sign and choose force feet of 100 each. Then we can start smudging the hair. Now moving on to the new layer, where we'll be focusing on his eyes with brush of deep pen heart. We have to use the original color of his eyes so it looks natural. So just press it long on the color and we will have it. Then just draw on it, both of the eyes. For the lash line, I will put the force end of 100% each. After that, change the type to airbrush trapezoid 20% to make a circle around the black eyes to make it blend well with the original picture. Meanwhile, for the eyelashes and eyebrows, we can use the oil hair type. Then, add a new page, use an airbrush trapezoid 20% again for the white eyes and the black color for the shadow. After that, we can merge these two layers. Then, add a new layer on top of all layers. We will use the pencil graphite to do the lines that we have in the face, such as around the eyes, like the eye bags, his dimples, his face line, his ear line, his nose line, and more. After drawing on all of that, we will change our tool to blur tool with low opacity to make those lines fit well with the picture. Then we can merge this layer into the eyes layer. Then go back to the layer with the picture so we can smudge the area around the eyes. This way we can still see his eye bags and eyelids clearly. After that, add a new layer so that we can make an effect to his eyes. Change the type of this layer from normal to add because we want it to be shiny. Change our tools to brush with the type of pencil graphite and choose the light color as the color of his eyes. You can use cyan, blue, red, or even chocolate, but I want it to be a bit orange, so I use a light orange. Then use a lighter color and draw on it like this. After that, use the type Deep Pen Bleed to add on shining effect. I will use white for this one. Here I named the layer as Eyes and Eyes too. Then add a new page and I named it as Highlight and change the layer into Add Type. For the highlight, we will be using pencil 1 on white. Draw it on the eyelid, the nose bridge, the cheeks, and areas that you want it to be highlighted. Then use the blur tools to blur the one on the nose bridge and cheeks. On the lips, I also use the brush with Deep Bleed Pen because I want the highlight to be a bit different. Under the highlight layer, add a new one and change it into Multiply because we will make the shadow now. For the shadow, we can use the airbrush trapezoid 20%. Take the dark color from the skin and draw on the places needed, such as under the neck and even on the closest. Then you can control the opacity of the layer so it will be not too dark. We will be doing the next part, which is the hair. Add a new layer under the highlight and change it into Multiply because we will be doing the hair strands of the darker color of the hair. We will use pencil 1 and draw all over his hair. Try to make it as natural as possible and follow the original flow. After that, move on to a new layer with Add as a type so we can do the highlight for the hair. Just change the color to white and draw on the hair that we will have the highlight part. And that's all for the hair. About his face, I wanted to put some freckles on it, so I add a new layer with a brush of watercolor point and use the darker color of his skin to draw on his face. After that, I go to Tools of Filter, go to Blur option and choose Gaussian Blur so the freckles will look natural on him. And that will be all for the adjustment of his face. Now go to design and choose add layer from canvas, which means it will sum up all of the layer that we just did. This way we can edit easily. Then go to filter, adjust color and color balance. During this color balance, you have to be creative on your own. You can choose your picture to be more oranges or maybe more greenish or maybe more bluish. It's up to you. When I first started to do this art, I have a quite hard time doing this color balance because I don't know what style that I want to do. But after a few tries, you will know. After that, go to brightness and contrast. Here also will need your own creativity. Then I add a new page because I want to put some sticker on his face. I use the brush of star shaped and draw on his face with two different of colors. Then add a new page for the background. I will use the airbrush with 60% with orange as a background. For the shining around him, I will be using airbrush 20% in white. You can add more to the background by using any shape of brushes here. Just experiment everything you like and the one that you like the most will be the one for you. Have fun and experiment. The more you do it, the more you will see. Now this is my last result. See the differences? Yay, now you can do it. I hope this tutorial will help you.